Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's makeover is going to be on this set of bedside drawers. I've had them sitting in my garage for a little while. They've got a bit of paint spilt on them. I must have put a container on them or something. But anyway, they've got a little bit of paint there. It's just dust, and one of them has missing hardware. So this is a quick, easy makeover for anybody to do. These are in really good condition structurally. They are just MDF type wood, not of great value, but at the moment they don't look that nice, so I will give them a makeover and have some new bedside tables. So first step, of course, is to clean. I just used a all-purpose bathroom / kitchen spray and wipe type cleaner. Really, you just want to get off the dust and dirt and any grease or grime that's on there, so your paint adheres properly. You'll see later on in the video where the paint doesn't stick, and obviously I didn't clean one part of it that well. So yeah, this will show you how important it really is. So yeah, just remove that hardware. I don't have any others like this, so I will put new hardware, complete new hardware on these. The runners and everything are really good. So I just used my carbide scraper to get off most of that paint, because it was just some acrylic paint sitting on there, and it chipped off pretty easy. Then 180 grit sandpaper, that's what I use to scuff sand the whole piece. So you just want to scuff sand just to take the shine off, and that allows your paint to adhere a lot better. Just make sure you wipe off all the dust before you start painting. I just use a microfiber cloth, and I just make sure it's a little bit damp. Not wet, just damp, and that'll pull all the dust off. So I've got this wallpaper. I've used this on another makeover that I did. Still got quite a bit left, so I thought I'd use this. It looked quite nice on the drawers, I thought. So use my scraps up first. Just put the drawer on, face down, and just trace around it, and then cut it out. It's as simple as that. To glue the wallpaper onto my drawers, I use just a PVA wood glue. So any PVA glue that you have works well. I don't use wallpaper glue because I find that it's not as strong as the PVA, and I don't want this peeling off. I want it there stuck on for good. The last thing you want is the edges to be, peeling away or sticking out. So yeah, this is what I use. So just put a thin layer on the underside of the wallpaper, and then also on the drawer face. I find if I use the PVA glue also that it doesn't dry super fast, so you've got time to move your wallpaper around. If you've put it on, it's a little bit crooked, you can just twist and turn and put some pressure on it and move it around. Now just make sure you get out any bubbles that are underneath it. Last thing you want is a big bubble sticking up. So just press firmly and squeeze it out to the edges and make sure every little bit of air is removed. And just wipe off any excess glue that's on the side of the drawer you see there. Just make sure that's nice and clean. And just put those aside till they're dry. I think I left them till the next day. Time for some undercoat. I have these two undercoats here. One is a black primer, Rust-Oleum, which I'll probably use. And the other one I have is BIN, which has shellac in it. Don't need that because it's not, colours aren't going to bleed through. That's usually what I use for wood, like knotted pine or something with tannins in it. That's going to bleed through the paint. So I just use this black undercoat, because the colour I'm going to be using is a dark colour, so I just use the black undercoat. So you can get black or white in this Rust-Oleum undercoat. I did mask off just on the insides of the drawer, just so I can paint a little bit in there, but not the whole lot. So I just use this piece of wood as my guide so I didn't get spray paint everywhere. This dries super fast as well, which was quite good. It was drying as I was spraying it on, pretty much. So the edges of the drawers, the wallpaper was just sticking out a little bit. So what you do is just get a piece of sandpaper, put it on a block of some sort, and just rub lightly away from the edge, and it will trim it up nicely. So you see here, just trim it and then see how it comes away. You just keep doing that all the way along and it'll make a nice straight line all the way along. This is the colour I'm using. It's a fusion mineral paint. It's called Chesla. Sort of like a bluey, real dark bluey peacock colour. So I always line my paint tray with a bit of tin foil. This makes it so much easier when you go to clean up. So I use these Monarch Smart Lock mini rollers. They are microfiber 100mm, 4mm nap. They have a push and release system. They're really good. So you just push them straight on to your handle and they click on. And then to pull them off, you just press down on the end of them and they they fall off, they click off. They're really, really good. So before I use rollers, I always get a piece of tape. Normally I use the big wide tape, but I ran out, so I just used some masking tape. And just run the roller up and down it, and that will take off any tiny bits of fluff or fibre that may be on the roller. So you don't want that on your furniture, drying in your paint. So just give this a stir. Usually these paints, Fusion mineral paints, are pretty good, but I still give them a bit of a stir. Let me know what you think of this colour. It's quite nice, I think. So first coat going on. I thought I might have trouble actually getting the paint into all those grooves in the wallpaper, but no, it went on quite well. After one coat, looked like that would be enough, but I will give it 2. I always give my pieces 2, even if it looks like it doesn't need it. So one thing when you are rolling paint on, don't overwork it. I actually did on this piece. I kept going over and over and over again, and it actually starts to dry and go a bit tacky, and that's what leaves marks and lines. So I had to repair that on my second coat. It's not a major, but just try not to. It's really tempting just to keep going, just to try and make it smooth, but on your first coat, just give it a coat and roll away any, obviously, drip marks that you see, and then just leave it alone because it self-levels quite well. So just trust it and let it self-level. So what I'm pointing to here is some of the paint didn't stick. So there must have been some grease marks on there. Someone may have moved my furniture, or might even be me. So I just wrap up the roller in between coats in a bit of Glad wrap or saran wrap, and you see here where the paint hasn't stuck, so that there must be grease or something on the piece. So I just gave that a good clean with a degreasing detergent type spray, and then I just lightly scuff sanded as well. So just scuff sanded with this little abrasive pad. Just look out for any drips or any marks, and I had a few little roller marks, so I just lightly, very lightly went over it with that scuff pad. And then, of course, wipe your dust away and give it your second coat. So I have left rollers with the saran wrap on them for 3 days, and that's been fine to be able to reuse them again. So they didn't dry, they didn't go tacky, they just stayed nice and wet. So second coat going on now. So now it's time for a top coat. So I just saved a little bit of paint. I've squeezed it off the roller and put that in a container, and then put my polyacrylic satin water-based varnish on top, or top coat. Add that with the little bit of paint that you have, because it's a dark coloured paint. It pays to put a little bit in your top coat, and that'll prevent it going cloudy. Sometimes if you just put the top coat straight over a dark paint, it appears a little bit cloudy on your colour, on your final finish. So yeah, if you just put a little bit of paint in there, it doesn't have to be much, that'll prevent that. Give that a good stir, and I apply my top coat with a little sponge. I just buy a pack of these. I think they come in a pack of 10. They're pretty inexpensive. Use it once and then throw it out. So don't overwork top coat. Just put it on thinly and walk away. So I gave this piece 2 coats. Fusion mineral paint does have its own top coat in it, but I always use a top coat as well. It's just something I like to do. Especially if I'm giving this to somebody, or if I'm selling it, I can tell them it's had 2 top coats. It looks quite streaky there, but it does dry clear. You won't see those streaks and those marks, as long as you don't overwork it. Right, time for some hardware. So because the wallpaper was glued straight over those existing holes where the hardware go in, I'll just get a pin, just poke it through the hole, just so I know where I need to make the holes for my screws to go in. Just mark those. You don't want to be pushing your screws through the wallpaper without making a little hole for it, otherwise it might rip or pull it off. So I've chosen this gold coloured hardware, just something simple. I think it goes with the colour well. There we go, voila, that looks lovely. Let's just pop those drawers in and let's see what it looks like. Nice. Okay, here's a reminder of what we started with. 2 sad little bedside drawers, and this is what they look like now. Textured wallpaper looks great. Handles, hardware, awesome. Yep, I'm happy with that. So if you've got some little bedside tables and you want to just jazz them up a bit, this is an idea for you. It's a bit of textured wallpaper, some new hardware and paint, and they look lovely and refreshed and totally new. Let me know in the comments what you think, guys. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.